Okay, so I'm going to do a little rant on extrasolar planets, also called exosolar planets. And I don't frankly expect that we will be able to confirm whether or not there's actual any form of exobiology, confirmed beyond reasonable doubt that there actually is exobiology, or I should say extraterrestrial biology on these extrasolar planets until we can actually send a probe to these planets, which, if we're talking about extrasolar planets, unless we're talking about rogue planets that aren't that far away from our own sun, we're talking about a technology that we're not too slightly ambitious. Of course, I know that there's some projects that people are working on where they're talking about sending very tiny probes at like maybe a fifth the speed of light. Well, that'll take a while. Even if we succeed at building something like that in the next 20 or 30 years or whatever, that'll take another additional 20 years for just to get to the nearest stars. And of course, we'd have to be lucky enough to find actual biology on, the first, two or three stars, or else, it's going to take much longer. If we get something to move really close to the speed of light, like say 80 or 90% the speed of light, and then I don't know. Then in some people's, the lifetime of some of our younger people, maybe they'll see our probes reach some of these other stars. So who knows how prevalent extrasolar or how prevalent biology might be. Um, there might be biology in our own solar system. There may even be macroscopic life forms, not just microbes, but actual uh, some form of life that's actually big enough for the visible, the unaided eye to see. It might be there could be creatures swimming in subterranean ocean in uh, Europa or Enceladus. I don't know how likely it is. I have no idea, but I don't necessarily expect it. But it wouldn't surprise me too much. If I were to make a wild guess, I'd say we wouldn't quite find that. We might find microbes. I have no idea how likely that is. I wouldn't say one way or the other. But um, it's interesting to think about it. Now, I'm not just interested, frankly, in extraterrestrial biology. I'm also interested in just the actual geology and in history of what you would find on extrasolar terrestrial planets or even moons or any kind of heavenly bodies or celestial bodies that are outside of our solar system, as well as ones inside our solar system. And we got, well, I guess I'll just expand this topic a little into more general astronomical topics. I mean, there's the Kuiper Belt, which of course is in our solar system. There's the theorized Oort cloud, which is, it's farther out there, and so, I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting, and I don't know, learning about the physics and it's interesting. I'd actually like to write some programs, even though they might be primitive, to do some kind of simulations. I'd probably just write it in Quick Basic. I don't even know how to write programs in C++, but I'll just write it in the modern version of Quick Basic, like Quick Basic 64. Maybe I'll learn C++ later on and run some simulations. Now, there's all sorts of stuff out there on the web, but I might do my own simulations. I have a limited amount of knowledge in physics, but I have some knowledge. I understand some of the concepts or whatever, and I might also just write some scripting programs that where you can just answer some quite basic questions. I might just write some programs in Quick Basic. Maybe I'll put up some charts or sheets on the web. I might put it in a video illustration, or I might put it in a graphical format, or I might put up a web page. I don't know. I might be a little bit lazy about it, though. I don't want to. I might put a lot of love into some intention into something. If it merits the my time. But it doesn't have to take a lot of effort to put up some things and just describe some concepts. But little by little, I'll just make a hobby out of using the different multimedia stuff that's out there. Right now, I'm just using YouTube. And anyhow, well, thanks for listening. Not a big deal.